Hey, how you doing? What's going on? I'm fucking tired. I'm late for work, and I figured I'd just record something while I'm on my way. I got Uncharted, The Lost Legacy recently. The latest, I guess you could call it a spin-off or a standalone, whatever. To me, it seems like they're starting the next, like there's no way this is the last Uncharted game we see, let alone the last Uncharted game we see with Chloe and what's her face? Is it Sophie? No, what is it? Chloe's the Indian broad. Who's the other one? Who's the looks black but could maybe be mulatto, South African? What the hell's her name? I forget. I really forget her name. I just played like a game with her. I forget her fucking name. That shows how much of an impression she leaves on you. Chloe's great, honestly. Chloe is awesome. I like her a lot. You can tell that like she's the new Nathan Drake. You know, they're making her the wise cracking. I mean, she was always kind of a jokester in the other games, but in this one they're making her. You know, they put the humor on a little too thick for my taste. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it works, and sometimes it's a little cringe, to be honest. But overall, as a character, I love Chloe. She's awesome. She's hot. She's got, a decent personality. Aside from a couple of jokes that miss, I like her a lot. I thought that the whole subplot with her dad was okay, but overall a little underwhelming. I thought the back and forth with her and whoever the fuck that South African girl was, I forget her fucking name. I just had it and I lost it. Son of a bitch. What the fuck was her name? Zoe? Is it Zoe? I don't know if no, Zoe's the black chick from Left 4 Dead 2. See, I'm so racist. They kind of look like each other, actually. If you look at Zoe, I think her name was, no, Zoe's the white chick. Fuck. Zoe's the white chick from Left 4 Dead 1. The black chick from Left 4 Dead 2 is Rochelle. Rochelle, that's right. She actually kind of does look like this South African, a little bit. If you look at the faces, they look a little similar. But what the fuck was her name? I can't remember. I'm too fucking tired. I don't know. I can't remember her name. But anyway, their banter, their back and forth shit, their bants was not bad, honestly. It was pretty good. I liked them. I liked seeing them. The ups and downs with their relationship that has to exist in every fucking story arc ever. But it was good. There's gonna be spoilers, okay? So if you haven't played it, don't listen to this shit. Or if you don't give a shit, it's not gonna be major spoilers, but it's definitely gonna okay, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Sam Drake returns. I love Sam Drake. He's like James Dean meets Bill Burr. I just like him a lot. And he's in this game, and he's only in it for a brief period. He's in it for the last 10% of the game. Maybe the last 15% of the game, maybe. But while he's there, he's cool. There's a sequence where he wears aviator sunglasses, but that sequence is way too short-lived. He only wears them for 15 minutes of the game, and I love him with those sunglasses on. He looks so badass, but then he breaks them and he fucking loses them. This isn't really a review. I'm just kind of talking about this game. I'm not really talking about the sound design or whatever. The thing the game does really, really well is the graphics are fucking insane. I know that the graphics are the least important part of a game, but it's still, when they're done this well, they're remarkable. And the game has these giant fucking vistas, and it literally looks like a photograph. And it's on a fucking console. Now, granted, the PS4's, as far as consoles go, it's powerful. It's a fucking shitbox compared to the PC, but the game looks fucking incredible, and it's on a fucking console. And yes, it's running at 30 frames per second, but it's a pretty steady, rock-solid 30 frames per second. I only saw a couple little hitches here and there. And when it's 30 frames per second, I mean, it's fucking fine. It's not ideal, it's not 60, but once you get used to it, you really don't notice it, and it works fine. One problem I did have was screen tearing all up in this bitch. There was a lot of screen tearing. When you would move the camera, you'd notice it, but it didn't detract too much from the overall experience. I thought it was like just the right length. I didn't think it was too short. I didn't think it was too long. A lot of people said it was short. If you take your time, you do the side stuff. I thought it was like just the right amount of stuff. It was just the right amount of game. It felt like the good amount of game. I felt like there needed to be a little bit more combat. The combat that was there was pretty good. I'd say it was maybe even better than Uncharted 4. It was basically Uncharted 4, but they had a whole other game to kind of tweak it and set up some new arenas and stuff. Combat was good. But like I said, I wish there was a little bit more of it. I don't wish there was too much of it, because I do like the downtime. You compare and contrast the combat with the exploration, that's fine. I just wish there was a little bit more combat. There were times where I was playing the game and I'm like, there just isn't enough combat. And I guess that was mostly because the game is basically set up. You got your typical Uncharted linear as fuck section for like the first 20 minutes. And then you've got you go into this big open world section, and that lasts for like the next couple of hours. And then it funnels you back into a really linear as fuck Uncharted section for like the next hour or two. So it's like, it's weird, because you would think that it would just be, you think when you get into it, you think, okay, we had a little linear introduction section, and now we're in the real game, which is this big giant open world section. And I'd say you probably do spend most of your time in the giant open world section, but honestly, not by much. The section that follows it, which is linear as fuck and is like more typical Uncharted and basically typical Naughty Dog game, that lasts a long fucking time. When I started the linear stuff, I was like, okay, we must be at the end of the game now, because now we're no longer in the giant open world. We're going back to linear. This must be the outro section. But honestly, that section, that linear section goes on for a pretty good clip, to the point where it might be as long as the fucking open world section. I don't know. Probably not. But it was long, and it was fucking hard. No, it wasn't that hard. I played on hard. There were moments where you got your ass kicked, but it wasn't too hard. And it wasn't too long either. It was very disappointing in terms of performance. No. But anyway, yeah, I mean, there's really, the voice acting was, top notch. The story was good. The acting, the choreo, the mocap. I mean, all that. The presentational aspect of the story, the graphics. It was all very, very good, as you expect from a Naughty Dog game. You love all the characters. The bad guy was sufficiently, dastardly and evil, I suppose. He kind of just from like an aesthetic standpoint, he kind of reminded me a little bit too much of the bad guy from Uncharted 4, whose name escapes me at this point. I can't believe I forget the name of the South African chick. She's like the main she's one of the main characters, and she was in Uncharted 4, and I can't remember her fucking name. She just doesn't leave that much of an impression on you. She's kind of like, she's just kind of like stoic and the badass bitch, and it's just, she's not as like Chloe Fraser. You just know instantly who she is. She's got a personality. She's like Lara Croft. She's like Lara Croft and Nathan Drake's love child. That's basically what she is. And she's very endearing character. But then her fucking sidekick is like, and she is a sidekick, by the way. I thought this game was going to be, you switch back and forth between the two characters, maybe at will, or maybe for certain sections, but you'd get to play as both of them. But you don't. You play as Chloe Fraser, and then the South African is just your fucking sidekick. And I was kind of disappointed by that. It's like on the tip of my tongue, and I can't fucking get it. What the fuck is her name? It's not Chloe. Chloe's the fucking Indian broad. But who's the South African broad? Like, I can't remember. Fuck. I don't remember. This is so fucking bullshit. Nope, it's not coming to me. It's just not coming to me. But okay, here's the real reason I'm recording this. Here's the real reason. I want to talk about the politics of this game. Yes, I know. Oh, he's going to talk about it. Super Jews. All right, turn it off if you don't like talking about SJW shit. I'm going to fucking talk about it. I'm not going to fucking bitch and moan because the game was good. And, in spite of my political leanings, I enjoyed the story and I enjoyed the characters and the blatant pandering. It didn't fuck with me too much. It fucked with me a little bit. That's why I'm talking about it. First of all, The girl power stuff is like, I'm fine with that. It's 2 fucking female protagonists kicking ass and taking names. I can suspend my disbelief for that, all right? A lot of people are like, oh, I can't believe a chick beating up fucking male mercenaries. Yes, that would never fucking happen in real life. It's a video game, all right? It's a video game. First of all, you spend most of your time shooting the motherfuckers, and women can shoot a dude as well as a dude can. Second of all, they're like special bitches. They're not just normal girls. They're fucking hardcore treasure hunters. They've killed a bunch of dudes. They know how to kill. You get Ronda Rousey into the room with an average man, she could probably fuck him up. A male mercenary who's trained in martial arts, she'd have a harder time. She might still be able to fucking do it. So the whole broads kicking ass. Yes, you're right. It doesn't happen in real life, but it's a fucking video game. It's not real life. Okay? It's a video game where you're fucking climbing giant statue elephants and searching for treasure in a lost city in India. All right? I can accept the fact that a girl might be able to knock a dude out with a couple of punches. Okay? Fuck. It's not even realistic when Nathan Drake does it. It's not even realistic when Indiana Jones does it. You don't punch someone once in the chin and they go down. All right? I've watched enough UFC to know it takes a lot more to fucking knock someone out than a simple biff to the fucking chin. That doesn't work like that. So if that didn't fuck with you, then this shouldn't fuck with you either, because it's about as realistic. So that, that's really not that big of a deal. Yes, it's there, but the thing is, it's not just that. They lay this shit on thick. There's some like side conversations that Chloe and whoever Yolandi Visser, whoever the fuck the South African girl is, I don't remember her fucking name. I cannot believe this shit. There's some side conversations that they have. One in particular where the South African talks about breaking some guy's legs because he wouldn't do business with her because she was a woman. She was talking about like how she runs this fucking mercenary PMC, and this guy was going to contract her, and then he refused to once he found out a woman runs it, and he broke her legs as a result, and they laughed about it. And yeah, that's right there. Yes, that's totally like a girl power feminist message, but it's okay. I don't find that fucking bullshit. You've got a badass bitch who kills people and takes names, who runs a PMC. Yes, they're women, and they say at one point it's good to have a woman along. There's not a lot of us in this line of work. Yeah, that's all true. That makes sense within the context of the story. So that kind of girl power pandering, it's not really offensive, because it's like, and I hate to use the word offensive because then I sound like a fucking total pussy super Jew, but it's not what's the word? It doesn't, in my opinion. If I wasn't a political asshole, I wouldn't even have noticed it. It fit right in at home with the story and the characters and the world that you're in. Yeah, you have 2 females treasure hunting and killing people. That's a weird thing for 2 females to do, so they talk about it. We're badass bitches. It's hard to find another woman in this line of work. It's good to have another woman along. Yeah, wouldn't it make sense that if you're a female treasure hunter and you're only ever with other men in your line of work because there's so few females, that the one time that you actually do get to team up with a woman, it would be kind of refreshing to have a woman along? That makes sense. If I was like a fucking male hairdresser or some shit, and I was straight, right, and I was with all women all the time, and I could always had to listen to their fucking shit, and then once in a while I got to hang out with another male hairdresser who wasn't trying to put himself on me, that would be good, right? I'd be like, oh, there's another fucking guy I can talk about guy shit with. I can relax. I can let down the sexual vibe in the interactions is now no longer there. The tension is gone. Yeah, it would make total sense why women would feel that way and why they would bring it up. Now, the fact that they brought it up, it was political, signaling, but it's okay. It's okay, because in my opinion, it makes sense within the story. It wasn't too forced, but it was noticeable, and it was, it is noticeable. The thing that really kind of, the 2 things that made it like annoying for me, which still aren't that bad. I can accept it. This game was not that bad. Everyone says, "Oh God, it's SJW the game." Oh fuck, and it's there, but it's not really that bad in my opinion. The one that I'm really worried about is The Last of Us 2, which we'll get into in a second. But the 2 aspects of this game that kind of made me go, okay, this is getting a little heavy here. One is the bad guy, who is like a stereotypically patriarchal. He's even racist. He talks about, he's like clearly like he's Indian, first of all. He's not like an Aryan dude. They probably were like, that's too on the nose. No pun intended, considering he was an Indian with a big ass nose. But he's not. He is an Indian. So even the fucking evil male patriarch can't be white. And I think there's like one white guy. There's literally like two white guys in the entire game. One is like a bad guy that's on screen for 5 seconds, and the other is Sam Drake. Oh, that's another thing. There's 3 things. Sam Drake is the third thing. But the first thing is the bad guy, the main antagonist, who honestly I kind of liked. He's got a good like aesthetic look going. He's kind of like looks nerdy, but he's kind of built a little bit so he could fuck people up. He's kind of evil. Well, he's definitely evil. But his whole vibe was very male, very patriarchal. He's got a beard. He's very handsome. Then Chloe even remarks he's very handsome. So don't think I'm fucking calling dude handsome. No homo. But he's very patriarchal. He talks about he's very conservative. He's got that vibe where he's very past looking. And he uses this phrase. Like I said, he's racist. He talks because Chloe and the South African. I think they're both mulatto. They're both. Or I know that phrase is offensive. I don't give a fuck. They're both biracial. I think. I know Chloe Fraser is. I think she's half Indian, half English, and I think that the other girl whose name I don't know is she looks biracial, but he calls them half breeds at the end. He just kind of throws it in there, and you could tell that they were going like, oh well, we're gonna do some alt-right shit in here. And he talks about the past, and he's very male centered. I don't know if there was any misogyny in there. There might have been 1 or 2 lines that I forgot about, but you can just tell they were kind of going for that. They were subtle about it. They weren't too on the nose about it. And then I gotta at least commend them for that. They were a little subtle about it, but it was there. And the thing is, at the end, spoiler alert, when you defeat him, he has this catchphrase called like, sometimes progress requires sacrifice. He said that a couple of times. And then at the end, when you beat him, Chloe repeats that line to him. Sometimes progress requires sacrifice. And she's standing there all badass bitch-like after beating the shit out of a man, which was actually really cool. And by the way, it was 2 women had to beat him up. So there you go. All you guys whining about women beating up men. 2 of them, 2 badass. It took 2 of them to beat this guy. And they did it. It was really cool the way they did it. They just beat the shit out of him. It was really cool. The animations that they used were really cool. But the way she says, like, progress sometimes requires sacrifice. And it's like, okay, all right, progress, we get it. And you'd have to see it. I know I might not be doing it justice. It might sound like I'm some paranoid fucking, anti-Semite who sees Jews everywhere. But I'm saying, like, when you see the scene, within the context of the whole project, you can tell, all right, the progress they're talking about here, it's a very specific kind of progress, and it's on a very specific side of the political spectrum. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, all right, we're signaling here. But it wasn't so heavy, it wasn't so bad, it wasn't so prevalent that for me anyway, it ruined the experience. The thing at the end was Sam Drake throughout this game is kind of the lovable oaf, which he kind of wasn't for, but he was capable. He was kind of a badass. And in this game, he's kind of just bumbling and kind of a moron. He's your typical, like, the dad in the commercial stereotype kind of thing. And, he says dumb shit. He's kind of the comic relief. He's the idiot that they use as a foil. These women are so smart and savvy, and this guy's kind of dumb. And that was in there. At the end, though, they have during the credits sequence, they have a scene with this little girl who was in the very, very beginning of the game. Very briefly, she shows up again at the end, and they're eating pizza, and Sam is doing his stupid male thing, and he's talking about how, like, I don't know, I just think we could go back and get the treasure. There is still a way to do it. We could make money off of this. And then the little girl stops and gives him a piece of pizza because they're eating pizza, and she goes, "Don't ruin this," right? And he eats the pizza. He's like, oh, fuck, fine. I'll just eat the pizza and shut the fuck up. And then it goes back to the credits. And I mean, that's in my opinion, it was blatant. It's like, don't ruin this guy. It's like me right now. I'm that guy. I am the Sam Drake who's going, they fucking made Sam stupid. They talked about progress. I'm that guy. But the fact of the matter is that they did do that for a reason. And it made me want to talk about it. And they probably, I'm totally falling into the trap. I'm totally the guy that they were fucking talking about. But the fact of the matter is that was fucking there. And they were like, they're saying, don't ruin this, guys. Women are ascendant. and just accept it. Just accept it as the way things are. And they had, oh yeah, there's two other. They have a fucking achievement, literally called Yas Queen. I mean, it's like, it's like Jesus Christ, you know. But once again, it's a girl, you know, it's a girl power vibe throughout the thing. You kind of, you know, and at the end they have the MIA song, which uses the word queen in it, and it's just like it's a total chick fest the entire fucking time. But guess what, you know? Just because there's a game that's a chick fest, and it is total fucking SJW shit. But it's in my opinion, this is an example of how SJWs need to fucking do this shit. If you're gonna fucking make your shitty games, make a good game, and then subtly interlace it with your politics. But don't do it so fucking heavy-handed that it fucking turns people off and it makes people roll their fucking eyes. This game made me do it a little bit, but I'm pretty sensitive to this shit. I'm a pussy when it comes to this political shit. So, you know, and even despite me being sensitive to this shit, I still really enjoyed the game. I was able to even appreciate it on the fucking, even as anti-SJW and anti-feminist as I am. I was like, yeah, girl power, great, good, I like this. You know, girl power. There's nothing wrong with this. It wasn't really being that preachy. There was that one thing at the end, and that one little credit sequence, you know, veiled message that was kind of annoying, but it wasn't that bad. And overall, the game itself was very good in my opinion for an Uncharted game. Is, you know, but I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you know, people like Top Hats like to shit on Uncharted, and rightfully so. The games are very derivative, and then they don't push the fucking envelope really anything. But in terms of story and in terms of giving you this fucking scale and epic feeling of a swashbuckling adventure, they do it very well. And Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, it's no different. The one thing, like, because the SJW shit is definitely creeping up in this game, and I mean, The Last of Us had a fucking lesbian fucking female protagonist that talked about, you know, beauty standards in the modeling industry, so it's always been there. But it's definitely been turned up a little bit. The dial's been clicked a couple of notches to the right. For this Lost Legacy, and you could argue it was in Uncharted 4 too, with the South African girl beating the shit out of Nathan Drake. I honestly, I didn't even really notice that when I played that game. I was like, yeah, okay, once again, badass bitch. She's been in the military her entire life. It's a video game, okay? It's like, I can accept it. But The Last of Us Part 2 is really what I'm kind of worried about. You play as Ellie, which is fine. You don't play as Joel, which is a little disappointing. But I'm really hoping. They brought a female writer on for no fucking reason. The last game was written by Neil Druckmann exclusively. And now they brought a female writer on who I think is like an actress. And they brought... Like, why would you need a second writer? Neil Druckmann wrote the entire first game. He wasn't the only director. There were two directors, him and someone else. But Neil Druckmann wrote the entire first game. Why would you need to bring on a second writer for the sequel? Make it Neil Druckmann's baby. He's the one who wrote the first one. Why do you need to bring a new person on? And it's a fucking chick. So it's like, it makes me worried. Did they feel we must bring on a female voice to speak this story because it's a female protagonist being written by a man? Oh no, we need to have a female perspective. That worries me. That worries me that he's going to concede some fucking writing points to this bitch and it's going to fucking end up ruining the game. And I really fucking hope it doesn't. So, we'll see what happens. God, I hope they don't fuck up. I mean, Naughty Dog is so good, it's really hard for them to fuck up. But, you know, you say that about a lot of developers. They're really fucking good. And then they get big. And then shit starts to go wrong. And, you know, that's when you have Dragon Age, everything after Origins. Pretty much every BioWare game after Mass Effect 1 and Dragon Age Origins is a good example. And those motherfuckers are the epitome of SJW faggotry. All right. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, thanks.